The chamber was so quiet you could hear the shuffle of papers and the hum of the cameras. All eyes were fixed on the two figures at the center of the storm: Senator Elizabeth Warren, her voice sharp and unrelenting, and Senator John Kennedy, calm yet visibly irritated. The debate had started as a discussion about economic policy, but it had spiraled far beyond facts and figures. The air in the room carried a tension that felt like it could snap at any moment. Elizabeth leaned forward, her finger jabbing the air. "You're ignoring the American people, Senator Kennedy. Your policies don't help working families, they strangle them." Her voice cracked slightly, but it was less from weakness and more from passion, the kind of emotion that either wins hearts or alienates listeners. Kennedy leaned back, his southern drawl measured but laced with steel. "With all due respect, Senator Warren, yelling louder doesn't make you right. It just makes you a broken bar louder." The room chuckled nervously, but Elizabeth wasn't about to back down. Her face flushed as she pressed harder, firing off statistics, anecdotes, and fiery critiques. Kennedy, however, didn't flinch. His patience seemed to wear thin as her words overlapped with his attempts to answer. Finally, he slammed his palm on the desk, startling everyone. He looked her dead in the eye and snapped, "Shut up, idiot." The chamber gasped. For a moment, the world stopped moving. Elizabeth Warren froze, her mouth half open, her eyes wide with disbelief. The camera zoomed in, capturing every flicker of emotion: the humiliation, the shock, and the growing storm that brewed inside her. Her voice cracked again, but this time with raw fury. "How dare you!" she shouted, her fists trembling at her sides. "I've spent my life fighting for people who don't have a voice, and you sit there and call me an idiot?" The clash wasn't just political anymore, it was deeply personal. Senators shifted uncomfortably in their chairs, staffers whispered nervously, and the nation watched in real time as one of the most heated confrontations in recent memory unfolded. Elizabeth's voice began to rise uncontrollably. She recounted stories of families losing homes, single mothers working 3 jobs, students drowning in debt. Each word was drenched in emotion, but her composure was slipping away. She wasn't just debating anymore, she was unraveling. Kennedy, though, stood his ground, his voice even but pointed. "Senator, I respect your passion, but passion without reason is just noise, and Washington already has enough of that." His words cut sharper than the insult itself, leaving Elizabeth visibly shaken. It was then that something unexpected happened. Instead of pressing harder, Elizabeth's voice faltered. The chamber wasn't laughing, it wasn't clapping, it wasn't even moving, it was just watching. She looked around, realizing that in her fury she had lost the audience she wanted most. The people. For the first time in the exchange, she fell silent. Her hands trembled as she gripped the podium, her fiery energy collapsing into a heavy quiet. Kennedy's expression softened, not smug, not victorious, but almost sympathetic. He knew he had won the moment, but at a cost. The moderator stepped in, breaking the unbearable silence. "Let's return to the issues at hand," he said, his voice firm but cautious. The debate limped forward after that, but the atmosphere had shifted. By the end of the session, Elizabeth left the chamber with her shoulders stiff and her eyes focused straight ahead, refusing to look at the cameras. Kennedy, meanwhile, paused to shake hands, offering brief words to his colleagues, but his usual lightheartedness was absent. He knew the clip would go viral. He knew the internet would turn "shut up, idiot" into a rallying cry or a weapon, depending on the audience. And that's exactly what happened. Within hours, social media exploded. Some cheered Kennedy for standing up to what they called Warren's grandstanding. Others condemned him for disrespecting a fellow senator, especially a woman who had dedicated her life to public service. The nation was split, but one thing was certain: the clash had struck a nerve. In the days that followed, Elizabeth reflected deeply. She had always prided herself on her passion, her ability to speak truth with fire. But now, she faced the painful realization that fire uncontrolled could consume her credibility. She returned to the Senate floor days later, not quieter, but more measured, her voice firm yet controlled. And Kennedy? He chose his words more carefully too. Though many admired his bluntness, he recognized that sometimes sharp truth can leave scars that overshadow the message. He never again used the word idiot in the chamber. The confrontation became a turning point, not just for the two senators, but for the way Americans viewed debate. Passion without respect could destroy dialogue, but respect without passion could render it meaningless. The lesson was clear: democracy thrives not when voices are silenced, but when they are heard with both strength and restraint. And as the years passed, that infamous moment wasn't remembered just as an insult, but as a reminder of what happens when two strong voices collide, and how both, in their own way, can rise from the wreckage stronger than before.